Okay, I'm on the classroom on page 32. Sun beamed through the dining room window, lighting up the hardwood floor. He had been talking for nearly 2 hours. The phone rang yet again, and Maury asked his helper, Connie, to get it. She had been jotting the callers' names in Maury's small black appointment book. Friends, meditation teachers, a discussion group, someone who wanted to photograph him for a magazine. It was clear I was not the only one interested in visiting my old professor. The Nightline appearance had made him somewhat of a celebrity. But I was impressed with, perhaps even a bit envious of, all the friends that Maury seemed to have. Thought about the buddies that circled my orbit back in college. Where had they gone? You know, Mitch, now that I'm dying, I've become much more interesting to people. You were always interesting. Ha! Maury smiled. You're kind. No, I'm not, I thought. Here's the thing, he said. People see me as a bridge. I'm not as alive as I used to be, but I'm not yet dead. I'm sort of in between. He coughed, then regained his smile. I'm on the last great journey here, and people want me to tell them what to pack. Phone rang again. Maury, can you talk? Connie asked. I'm visiting with an old pal right now, he announced. Let him call back. I cannot tell you why he received me so warmly. I was hardly the promising student who had left him 16 years earlier. Had it not been for Nightline, Maury might have died without ever seeing me again. I had no good excuse for this, except that one that everyone else has these days. I had become too wrapped up in the siren song of my own life. I was so busy. What happened to me? I asked myself. Maury's high, smoky voice took me back to my university years, when I thought rich people were evil, shirt and tie were prison clothes, and life without freedom to get up and go, motorcycle beneath you, breeze in your face, down the streets of Paris into the mountains of Tibet, was not a good life at all. What happened to me? The 80s happened, the 90s happened, death and sickness and getting fat and going bald happened. I traded lots of dreams for a bigger paycheck, and I never even realized I was doing it. Ugh. Yet here was Maury talking with wonder of our college years, as if I'd simply been on a long vacation. Have you found someone to share your heart with? He asked. Are you given to your community? Are you at peace with yourself? Are you trying to be as human as you can be? I squirmed, wanting to show that I had been grappling deeply with such questions. What happened to me? I once promised myself I would never work for money, that I would join the Peace Corps, that I would live in beautiful, inspirational places. Instead, I'd been in Detroit for 10 years now, at the same work spot, using the same bank, visiting the same barber. I was 37, more efficient than in college, tied to computers and modems and cell phones. I wrote articles about rich athletes who, for the most part, could not care less about people like me. I was no longer young for my peer group, nor did I walk around in gray sweatshirts and unlit cigarettes in my mouth. I did not have long discussions over egg salad sandwiches about the meaning of life. My days were full, yet I remained, much of the time, unsatisfied. What happened to me? Coach, I said suddenly, remembering the name. Maury beamed. That's me, I'm still your coach. He laughed and resumed his eating, a meal he had started 40 minutes earlier. I watched him now, his hands working gingerly, as if he were learning to use them for the very first time. He could not press down hard with the knife. His fingers shook. Each bite was a struggle. He chewed the food finely before swallowing, and sometimes it slid out of the sides of his lips, so that he had to put it down what he was holding to dab his face with a napkin. The skin from his wrist to his knuckles was dotted with age spots, and it was loose, like skin hanging from a chicken soup bone. For a while we just ate like that. A sick old man, a healthy younger man, both absorbing the quiet of the room. I would say it was an embarrassed silence, but I seemed to be the only one that was embarrassed. Dying, Maury suddenly said. There's only one thing to be sad over, Mitch. Living unhappily is something else. So many people come to visit me are unhappy. Why? Well, for one thing, the culture we have does not make people feel good about themselves. We're teaching the wrong things. And you have to be strong enough to say, if the culture doesn't work, don't buy it. Create your own. Most people can't do it. They're most unhappy than me, even in my current condition. I may be dying, but I am surrounded by loving, caring souls. How many people could say that? I was astonished by his complete lack of self-pity. Mori, who could no longer dance, swim, bathe, walk. Mori, who could no longer answer the door, dry himself after a shower, or even roll over in his bed. How could he be so accepting? I watched him struggle with his fork, picking out a piece of tomato, missing it the first few times. A pathetic scene. And yet, I could not deny that sitting in his presence was almost magically serene. Serene's a good word for calm. The same calm breeze that soothed my back in college. Soothed me back in college, not my back. I shot a glance at my watch. Force of habit. It was getting late, and I thought about changing my plane reservations home. And then Maury did something that haunts me to this day. You know how I'm gonna die? He said. I raised my eyebrows. I'm going to suffocate. Yeah. My lungs, because of my asthma, they can't handle this disease. It's moving up my body, this ALS. It's already got my legs. Pretty soon it's going to get to my arms and my hands. When it hits my lungs, he shrugged his shoulders. I'm sunk. I had no idea what to say. So I said, well, you never know. Alright, we're going to stop right there for a second and continue on page 37. Thank you.